Hey, my good people, welcome again to this channel. My name is Daniel, and in this video, I want us to look at visa denial under section 221G. Visa denial under section 221G, it means that the consular officer did not have all of the required information to conclude the applicant's case in order to receive the visa. This form is usually indicating that an applicant's visa has been temporarily refused until specific documents and information are provided to the consular officer for him or her to continue adjudicating your case. These documents can range from the DS-260 form not submitted, missing documents from your host, missing medical reports or reports, missing certified copies of your high school certificate, or missing police clearance from your home country or other countries where you have previously traveled and lived in for more than 1 year, incomplete DS-260 form, and many more other information and related documents to your case. Should the applicant address the consular's concern and provide the required information and documents, then 221G refusal can be overturned and documents and the visa will be issued to the applicant. So receiving Form 221G does not necessarily mean that a visa application has been rejected, nor does it lower your chances of receiving the visa. It may simply mean that the consular officer was not able to make a final decision based on the information and the documentation initially provided. So here, when you fill the DS-260 form, you submitted the form to KICC, it was processed, and when your case was current, your file was sent to your embassy or the consulate, and after receiving your file, you are invited for the visa interview with the instructions on the documents that you need to carry to the interview. So during the interview, if the consular officer, after adjudicating your case, realizes that there is some information or documentation that is missing from the list that I have already mentioned, the consular officer will give you a yellow form under section 221G, and you need to provide the information that is required for that person or the consular officer to continue your adjudicating your case, and maybe the visa given or denied at the end of the day. Along with 221G refusal, the consular officer may supply the applicant with a form, and normally a yellow form, specifying the reasons why the visa application has been refused, along with a further required action. So the consular officer will give you this form, and it will, or she will indicate on the form the reasons why your visa has been put on refusal temporarily and the actions that you need to do such that your visa get approved. This is usually circled all ticked on the dialog boxes under section 221G or handwritten on the refusal form that will be handed to the applicant. So you need to be very keen. After your visa has been refused, the consular officer will give you that yellow form, and under section 221G, the consular officer will mark the reasons why the visa was denied and the actions that you need to do for you to get your visa approved. What you need to note are this: the processing of your visa may proceed or may not proceed until all the requested documents and information have been received by the consular officer. And once all the necessary documentation has been submitted, there may be a waiting period before the application is fully processed. You cannot submit your documents today and expect by next week the status of your case changes. So you'll have to wait. And normally they will tell you, do not make any inquiry about your case. They will always let you know once it is processed. The waiting time usually varies from case to case, and the applicant may not be required to take any further action within the waiting period or within the waiting time. So you need to be patient until you get communication from the embassy through the email that you provided during your DV lottery application or during the DS260 form submission. So you need to be keen, be checking your emails and see whether there is communication from the consular officer. After the processing has been completed and the applicant's visa eligibility has been determined, the U.S. consulate will request that you submit a passport if it was not retained by the consular officer during the interview for visa stamping. But if it is determined that the applicant is ineligible for a visa, then the documents that you initially provided will be returned to you along with a denial letter via the courier services that you had registered with during the interview time. So guys, if you have already gone for the visa interviews and you have been given a yellow form with visa denial under section 221G, do not worry a lot. Just do as you have been instructed in that form and provide the necessary information and documents as requested. And keep checking the status of your case, and you will see it changing from denial or refusal to being reviewed and finally issued. And those who are yet to go for the interviews, just make sure that your DS260 forms are complete and submitted, and just avoid unlocking your DS260 forms unnecessarily, because any change you make may impact you negatively during your interview. So be very keen. Also, if you change or you have changed your host after receiving your second notification letter, make sure you inform the first person receiving your documents during the interview and make the changes there. But do not do the changes with the consular officer. The consular officer is strictly for the interview, unless the consular officer asks you about change of the host. But do not go to the consular officer telling him or her that I want to change the host. You change your host with the person receiving your documents or checking them before you go to the consular officer. So guys, be very keen on that and prepare for your visa interview very well. From our side, wish you all the best for those ones who are going for the interviews. Be calm, be courageous, and the visa will be all yours. Bye. See you in our next video.